Rambam, the teachings of Maimonides. We begin today the laws of servants. Fascinating servitude, slavery, if you will, right? But we'll see. It's a little quite unique. Okay, chapter 1, Hilchas Avadim, the laws of servants. They contain 13 mitzvahs, 5 positive, 8 negative. They are the laws governing the acquisition of the Hebrew servant, not to sell him in a manner the servants are usually sold, not to make him perform excruciating labor, not to make him perform servile tasks, not to allow a resident alien to make him perform excruciating labor, to grant Hebrew servants a severance gift when he attains his freedom, not to let him go empty-handed, to redeem Hebrew maidservants, to designate her as a wife, not to sell her as a second time, to have a Canaanite servant forever unless his master causes him the primary limbs to fail, to fall, not to return the master's servant who fled the diaspora of Eretz Israel, not to oppress this servant who has fled to us. These mitzvahs are explained in the following chapters. Okay, the term Eved Ivri, which means a Hebrew servant, right? One second, folks. Okay, Davida, you let in, please. Okay. Okay. Oops. Yeah, so the term Hebrew servant used in the Torah refers to a Jew whom the court sells by compulsion, or a person who sells himself willingly. What is implied? What is implied? Okay. When a person steals and does not have the resources to repay the principal, the court sells him, as we've explained in Hilchos Geneva. No other Jewish person is sold by the court except a thief. Concerning such a thief, sold by the court, the verse states, when you acquire a Hebrew servant, concerning this person, as it says in the verse also, when a Jewish brother will be sold to you. So a court can only sell someone who stole and now cannot pay back the principal of what they sold. They're sold into slavery. That money is now used to pay back for what the person stole, and they have to now do the work for that, whatever, for the amount of time. And then, as we will see, right? That's by the court. What does it mean? The term that a person sells himself referred to. When a Jew becomes sorely impoverished, the Torah gives him permission to sell himself as a servant. So he's completely impoverished. So much so, as we will, I think he will say, I don't know if it'll be here right now, that he doesn't even own the shirt that he wears. That's how impoverished. Otherwise, then he's not allowed to. Like, in other words, he has, then he's not allowed to sell himself. Right? So it's interesting. There's no concept of being sold by one person to another. Not a concept of getting people and, enslaving them. Right? The court mandated, or personally that you have chosen that because, hey, better to be a slave for somebody, a servant for somebody, and have a place, a roof over my head and food to eat, than completely impoverished. Yeah. Just to give us the context of all of this, okay? A person is not allowed to sell himself as a servant and stash away money, use it to buy merchandise or utensils, or to give it to his creditor. He must sell himself only when he need the money for his very livelihood. A person is not permitted to sell himself unless he has no property remaining at all. Even his clothing no longer remains. His clothing no longer remains. Only in such a situation may he sell himself, right? In other words, his clothing doesn't even belong to him. Got it?
So that's what the clothing he has currently, or what the clothing he will get.
What?
The clothing, this is being referred to here, is the clothing he currently has. when he sells himself this in slavery,
Yeah, if it
whatever he has.
means he doesn't have clothing. He's wearing clothing, but it's not even his. Right? That's how impoverished he is. Okay, number two. We've already explained that a woman is never sold because of theft. Similarly, she may not sell herself as a servant, nor may she purchase a Hebrew servant or a Canaanite servant. Why? Because of suspicion of immoral behavior. Right? If a woman is going to buy a servant, it's not, it's an opening for immorality, of sexual immorality, and therefore not allowed to. Okay? A convert may not sell himself as a servant. This is right from the verse, and he shall return to his family. It is speaking about someone who has a family within the Jewish faith, right? And a convert doesn't have that. So he can't sell himself. Why? How come? How come? How come? No? No answer? Uh-oh. Come on, Yecheskel. Don't answer, because you're going to answer is going to be wrong. Yeah. Huh? Come on, Yecheskel. Why?
What's the question?
Ugh.
Why can't the convert sells
The convert can't sell themselves. Why? Because the verse says so. That's why. That's why.
Alright.
The verse doesn't give a reason. It just says that, right? Because the verse says that when he's freed, he goes back to his family. But a convert in halacha doesn't have a family because he becomes like a newborn child, right? When they convert.
No place to go back to.
Right. No place to go back to. You have a place to go forward, but not back.
Right.
Right? Okay. We are going to stop here and we're going to do Chumash. Going to Chumash. All right. We're at verse 25. You have the book? Take all the books. Take all the books.
Yeah.
We're verse 25, right? Okay. We are chapter
38.
38, verse 25. We did 24, now we're at 25. Okay. Behimut says, and she was taken out, Behishalcha, and she sent El Chamia to her father-in-law, Lamor, saying, Leish, to the man Asher Ela, that these are loy to him, belong to him, in other words, Anechi Hara, I am pregnant, right? I conceived, rather. Hara, well, actually, Rashi said Hara can mean also pregnant. Usually it means conceived, but it can also mean pregnant. But Taimer, and she said, Hakir no, recognize, please, Lemi Achaisemis, who is this signet ring, Vapsilim, and the wrap, the Hamata, and the staff. Ha'ela, these. So what is she saying? Recognize. Did she say they're yours? Would that be normal to say that?
Mm-hmm.
She didn't. Rashi picks up on that. Following?
Yes.
Yeah? Rashi picks up on that. He mutsays, she was taken out, l'sarif, to be burned, right? Again, burning doesn't mean in a fire, something that burns the inside of the person and kills them from the inside. Yeah.
I was wondering, is it stoning or
No,
burning?
I mentioned before there's 3 different ways. There are actually 4 different ways. 4 different ways of the death penalty. There's the stoning, there's decapitation, the strangulation, and burning. Burning means a liquid that burns you from the inside and kills you inwardly, right? Yeah. Nothing for breakfast, right? Careful now.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. Vihi shalcha el chamia, and she sent. What did she send? She sent word to her father-in-law. She did not want to embarrass him. But from you, I am pregnant. Allah, rather, but to the man whom this belongs to. Amra, she said to herself, if he'll admit on his own, let him admit. And if he doesn't admit, Yisrafuni, then I'll be burnt. Okay.
We're waiting for.
I'll be burnt. Yes, absolutely. I'll be in pana, but I will not embarrass him. You hear that? This is crazy. Mikan Amru, from here the sages say, it's preferable that a person should he throw himself into a fiery furnace, but he should not make his friend's face pale in public. Whoa, that's pretty powerful. By the way, what does that show you about her? She's righteous, right? She's righteous, obviously, right? Otherwise, righteous people don't need to justify themselves. She didn't justify herself. She just, this is what it is, right? She's doing what she needs to do, not to embarrass him, but this is the facts. And what does he do? He's righteous, so he's going to act accordingly, right? Rashi continues, Hakir na, recognize, if you please, ein na ela lashon bakasha. The word na means an expression of request. Hakir na be'erecha, please recognize your creator. Bal ta'abez shalish nefashis, and don't destroy 3 souls. In other words, Tamar and her 2 unborn twins. Remember, she's pregnant, and she's going to be pregnant, and she's pregnant with twins. Got it? Okay. So what is his response? B'yakir Yehuda, and he recognized Yehuda. V'yomer, and he said, what does he say? Tzotka. She's right. Mimeni, from me. Like, she's right. As opposed to ki alkein. Because, therefore, loy nasatiha, I did not give to her l'sheila, to Sheila as a wife, right? Beni, my son. But Yasaf, Ladaita, and he didn't continue to know her anymore. She was right. Rashi 26. Tzotka, she's right. Bidvareha, in her words. Mimeni, it is from me. Himu better, she's pregnant. Tzotka, mimeni, she's correct. From me, right? Like, remember, Torah, the Chumash is written in short form, right? She's correct, right? In her words. From me, she's pregnant. Right? Our sages of blessed memory, they expounded this to mean that a heavenly voice came forth, Ba'amra, and said, Mimeni mi'iti, from my very self, Yata Hadvarim, this came out. In other words, God is the one who brought it about that Thomas should be conceived through Yehuda. Because she was modest in her father-in-law's house. And I decreed that kings should come forth from her. Mishevet Yehuda, from the tribe of Yehuda. That I decree that kings should come and be established in Israel, and it should be specifically through Yehuda having relations with Tamar. So this is a heavenly thing, right? Fascinating. And that's mimeni, right? What Rashi is saying in this second explanation, not the simple meaning, right? He's saying that it's the expounded explanation. Why Rashi brings it over here, we need to understand, right? But he's saying mimeni, from me. Who's the me? God. This came from me. That's what it means. From God Almighty. I decreed this. I set this all up, that this should happen, because it has to be from Tamar, that she is going to be the mother of kings. As Yehuda is King David came from Yehuda, right? Mashiach will come from Yehuda. He's going to come from Yehuda, yes.
Why don't they marry and have children? With them?
Good question. First, let's continue, and we'll see the rest of the Rashi. Maybe I'll give some hint to it. Okay, let's see. Good question. Ki al kain nasatiha, inasmuch that I did not give her, kibedin also she did correctly. Allah sheshalin shela b'ni, inasmuch that I did not give her Shela my son. Right. So he's saying she did right because she was supposed to get Shayla, right? And I didn't give the third son to her. Lo Yasaf, I needn't continue to be intimate with her anymore. Yeshayim, son, there are those who lo Haisif, Lo Yasaf, he did not continue. Yeshayim, and there are those that say, like Pasuk, that he did not stop. Interesting. The Chavera, and there's a word related to it that the Yasaf means to stop. Gabi Eldad Umeidad Lo Yasaf Lo Yasafu, that they did not stop. If you remember that Eldad and Medad were prophesying about Moshe, that about Moshe. That's when Miriam said to Aaron, her brother, about they're going to prophesy. Oh, they won't be able to be with their wives, and so on. And right, she said ill about her brother, and that's why she got tsaras. She got this leprosy, skin leprosy, because of the lashon hara that she spoke about her brother. Right, but in any case, what it means over there, because it says there the same word here, lo yasafu, usually means a word of gathering, and here it means stop. Usually it means like, not gathering, I mean to add. So it's either add or stop. Complete opposites, right? And that's why you have, because the word can mean both. So therefore, that's why you have an argument on what it means. So the question though is, what's the point here? I don't know. And according to the opinion, they didn't anymore, because he did what he needed to do that she should be the mother of the twins that will be the progenitors of kings of Israel. That was sufficient. I guess to that opinion, maybe that's the understanding, right?
When the Ruach came upon Moshe, he shared it with other people. Some people that were around Moshe, they all started prophesying. These two men were outside the camp. They also started prophesying. Yeshua told Moshe, tell them to stop. But Moshe responded, they're not going to stop, they're going to continue prophesying. But that's where he picks up the continuing, not ceasing to prophesying. That's the parallel.
That's right.
she's making.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a parallel. Exactly. Yeah. So because the word can be soif, which means end, which means stop, right? Or it can be Yeah, Safu. Sorry, like the word Yosef, right, means addition, means continue. It's more. Or it can be safe that it means stop, the end.
Does Rashi take a position? Which one is it?
No, you see, he brings both. He brings both. Anyway, let's see if we can have some understanding. Let's continue. Okay?
But we can agree that they're clearly opposites, right?
I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Both of them can't be true.
That, which is a good question. How is that possible? Because it can't be an argument and that both are because both are true. The question is, how is that possible when you're talking about a reality of, a reality of something? So that itself we need to understand. Excellent question. Okay. He basically the time it was, and it came to pass at the time of birth. Vihine, and behold, Soimim, they're twins, Bebitna in her womb. Rashi basically the time. So Rashi's body at the time of birth. What do you mean at the time she gave birth? But Rivka, when it came to Rivka, and it says the Yamalu Yamel Aledis, that her term was full. Right? It says it's a different term that uses Lahalan Malaim, because by Rivka, she gave birth to twins that they were full term, right? But here it says here she diminished, she only gave birth in the 7th month. It wasn't full term. And behold, they're twins. Mole. It's written, complete the word, full spelling. V'lahalan seimim. But above,
Which difference from Rivka?
by Rivka, it was written lacking the letter Aleph, right? It's lacking the letter Aleph. Here it has the letter Aleph, you see? Why? Because one by Rivka was wicked. But these two are both righteous. Just like the father and the mother are both righteous, they too are both righteous. Right? 28. Vehi, and it was, and it happened when she gave birth, and Yad, and he gave a hand, and she took the midwife, Vatikshar is Yadeh. And look how awkward this is. How I don't know, awkward, but unusual it is. And she tied his hand, Shani, with a crimson thread. Lamor saying Zeh Yatza Rishona. This came out first. Now, why would she do that? Like that, the whole thing is like the. Because what happened? He went back in, and the second one came out first, right? Let's see Rashi.
It reminds me of the first fruit. The first fruit, they would tie something around
Right.
the fruit.
Yeah. But that's only because that's only it first emerged, and later on you may not know what first emerged, right? But here, when doesn't the first baby that comes out come out?
Yeah.
Like, and that the midwife would do that. Like, that's pretty. It sounds like this whole thing is a heavenly thing. And he put out his hand. One of the twins put forth his hand outside. He put it outside. I guess you know what it is, because he only put out one hand. That's pretty weird. Not both. So that was a sign that something funny is happening over here. That's why the midwife, tied the crimson thread. And after she tied the crimson thread on his hand, on Yadai, Hashani, sorry, he took it back. Right? Yeah. 29. Vayhi, and it was Kimeshi Biada when he returned his hand, Vihine Yatsa Achib, and behold, came out his brother. B'tamer, and she said, "Ma peratzta alecha? What did you exert yourself, or strengthen yourself, emerge? What strength that you asserted yourself? Alecha paritz, right? V'yikral shmei paritz, and she called him paritz. Paratzta Rashi, chazakta alecha chayzik, that you brought strength upon yourself. And you're like extra, to overcome your brother, right? So she called them parrots, right? 30. The achar yotza achiv, and after it came out his brother, ashel yada ashani, and then on his hand was this crimson tie, the yikra shmoy, and it's interesting, he called his name Zarach. Who's the he? Okay, let's see. Rashi 30, Asher al yadei hashani. Now on his hand is this thread, crimson thread. Arba yadei ksufetzkan. There are 4 times the word yad is written here. Why? Arba haramim. This corresponds to 4 bands, banning someone. Shema al achan. When Achan, who descended from him, violated. He's a descendant of Zerach, and he violated the ban against taking spoils from Jericho, as the Midrash says. So this is another. He took spoils by hand, right? So that's alluding to the fact that it says 4 times here, hand, that a descendant took by hand, violating and taking spoils. The Yeshayim are those who say that the use of hands here 4 times, keneged arba dvarim, are 4 things, shalakach, that Achan took from the spoils of Jericho, aderes shinar, a Babylonian cloak, ushtei chatichas kesef, 2 pieces of silver, shel masayim shkolim, that weigh 200 shkolim, v'lashin zohav, and a gold ingot of gold. Okay, v'yikra shmoi Zarach, and he was called Zarach, which means brightness, literally. Al shem zrichas here's Hashani, because of the brightness of the crimson thread. Well, that's interesting. Wow. Ooh la la.
Can I share a personal story?
Well, just we're online. Can we just take a second?
Oh, sure.
Is it related to this? Oh, okay. So go ahead. I thought you said personal. That doesn't.
It is personal.
No, but related to the Chumash, what we're learning. That's what I'm asking. No, so I just want to look for. Okay, after, yeah,
It's a good story.
I'm sure it is.
Do a survey, which bagels you like the most. There's like 4 places I bring bagel from. If you have to, at least.
Okay.